How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so glad you decided to come back. You
Wow.
are the creator of Path of the Pale Rider. We covered the first issue and
Yes.
your Kickstarter for the first issue a few months back. You're back to
Yep.
talk about that and the Kickstarter for your second issue, and we are
Yeah.
really glad to have you. So, how are things going?
Things are going great. Issue number one, for people that don't know it, we ran the campaign back in April. We closed out in May. We finished 116%, had like 107 backers, something. Really great, really great. That was our first Kickstarter ever. And we're running a second one now for issue number two. So yeah, I mean, we're kicking butt and taking names. We're about halfway through and we're at like 81% as of right now. So yeah, we're doing
And
great. Come on,
you said you
everybody,
just had a big.
check it out.
Oh yeah, it's really good stuff. And you said you just had a big jump in it too. So I mean, y'all are 81% halfway there. So you got a
Mhm.
lot of time to hit that goal. Hitting the
Yeah,
100% on the first Kickstarter is it's it's such an accomplishment. It's so crucial,
it
because
is.
I mean, it just really lets you know, like, I've got something here that people are
Right,
genuinely interested in, and it makes
right.
you feel so much better about what you're creating. It motivates you to go, and you interact a lot of fans with your stuff anyway. So it's
Yeah,
just really, really cool to have that. And I'm really, really glad to hear y'all hit that 100%, on the first one. And
yeah.
it sounds like you're well on the way to 100% on the second one here. So
Yeah, we're making our way. It kind of does the same thing every time. And for those of you that are interested in running a Kickstarter or don't know how they run, typically it's like you see the most, and on day one and day two, you kind of like rocket right out of the gate. And then about 5-7 days into it, things really slow down. And it's kind of like all your returning people are in, it's like trickle in, but then you get like your new fans. That's what you're doing, is you're out promoting, and then you got to meet new
mm-hmm,
people, right?
mm-hmm.
So as you meet the new people, it's like you'll have some slow time, she'll have some time. It's like some days you're like, wow, I can't get anybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And some days you're like, wow, I got like 6 people in a row, like woo. So it just, it's kind of what it does. And then towards the end, like the last 10 days, you're gonna see a pickup as well. And then it's when you hit your goal and you start pushing towards those stretch goals so you can like enrich the experience. So yep, that's what it's doing. It's doing the same thing it always does. So we're following the trend.
That is awesome. Now we covered the first issue with you a few months ago, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the stuff
Yeah.
up here, and we'll just kind of let you
Yeah.
scroll through it, and we can talk about it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet or doesn't know anything about it because there may be new listeners.
Yeah.
And just kind of talk about it, and we'll run through the comic.
Sure.
This one right here, correct?
Um, yes, this is the right one. So this is kind of our image, and people, this means something. In fact, this is the answer to the question, but it's kind of like a spoiler with no context. I'm going to tell you what this means, but this is a pretty important image. But this is the image you're going to see whenever you see us. So the web page, the Facebook groups, the Kickstarter, like if you're looking for us and you're not sure if it's us, if you see this, it's us. You know what I mean? This is
Right.
kind of the image that goes on all the things. So this was issue number one. So just a little background on our world for anybody that's not familiar. We are a Western apocalypse comic book series. In this world, the death process is broken. And what I mean by that is your body can die, but your soul or your energy, it doesn't leave your body upon that death moment of your body. So you get to hang out and you get to experience your own decay. So your brain is rotting in your skull. Yeah, so you get to experience like memory loss and violence and indifference, and it hits everybody differently. It just depends on how your body dies. So it's a really chaotic place, and it's not just for people. I love this cover because it's silly. It's like this could be an angry mob. It could also be they're kind of coming at you to ask you about your car's extended warranty. Because it's like in my world, you don't get the angry zombie, you don't get the flesh eating zombie. It's like it's me, it's you, it's your uncle, your mom, your neighbor. You know what I mean? And you're still yourself. So this is a great grisly cover, and I love it. But yeah, they're all sneezing because they have allergies or
Yeah.
something. Because it's not animals are affected as well. So one of the big meanies in this comic is a large black bear named Big James that lives on this road that we encounter. So animals, insects, plants, fish, bacteria, whatever, it everything. Nothing gets to leave. Nothing gets to rest. there is no transition. I love this cover too. So anyway, so we're 10 years into the apocalypse when the story starts, and you get a real good like Walking Dead or Book of Eli feel here, and that's kind of what we're going for, like Fallout 4, going through the apocalypse, and you're going to see black and white pages, and you're also going to see some color pages, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But I mean, Marco does such great work.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This page is really cool because it shows what people wear in this world. We call it a disc, and what they're tapping is this thing that they're wearing on their chest that will amplify their heartbeat. So it's a government issue device that everybody wears, where it's like if you're alive and you tap it, the screen turns green, the heartbeat goes across, and there's a speaker that will activate and emit your heart rate. You know what I mean? So you can hear it and you can see it. And if they're undead, there's no heartbeat, it turns red, it flatlines, and then you hear like the flatline alarm that you hear from, like hospital dramas.
Right.
So there's moments where it's quiet and beautiful still in this world. And then of course it's immediately disrupted by something that's out to eat you. So we have the pack of wolves here, which of course they run off into the middle of the night, and Jude calls them a bunch of chicken shits because they ran. The next morning he's tired. He talks to this lady. He's looking for Santa Claus. And she's like, aren't you a little old to believe in Santa Claus?
Right.
And he's like, I'm looking for the town of Santa Claus and a guy named Dwayne Fink. And she's like, I have no idea where they are, but if you follow the road, there's a town up there, but the name has been lost. So she doesn't, no one knows the name of the roads anymore at this point because it's already gone. It's dilapidated. We're basically devolved back to the Wild West. Has this cute little moment with this little girl. He kind of gives her a little secret where he's like, my horse's name is Diana Prince. And I named her after a warrior woman who protects the human race. So yes, Jude reads DC Comics in my world.
There you go. Nice little Easter egg there. I liked it.
Right. And the horse, if you look at the picture, she has a star on her forehead. So that's kind of why Jude called her that. So goes on the road. They have a conversation, him and this horse, about whether they should go. It's pretty obvious there's a bear up there. But they've done stuff like this before, so they make the decision to go. He gives her a pair of shoes and says, happy early birthday, So he treats her like a person, she's his companion, not just his transportation. They go around this corner, find this glass. He makes a stupid decision to pull it out of this hand, goes diving for it.
And we did learn last time this shot glass has some significance, correct?
It does. When he looks at it in this 1, 2, 3, 4th panel, it's a map of Las Vegas. Dun dun dun. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. You go.
So he has this kind of moment like, that was dumb. Like, that was stupid. Like I shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. But again, he was up all night. He's tired and he's probably not making the best decisions. They go around this corner and see these birds eating a dead bear. And of course, now they're extra quiet. He guides Prince over this dead bear because at this point it's like either go over the bear or go home, right? Or go back.
Right.
So they decide to go forward, have this like real close call and like brief moment of reprieve that, oh my gosh, we made it. And then of course the horse trips and out comes this glass that he stopped to pick up and oh sugar, it breaks, right? And now the bear is awake.
Oh yeah.
So you've read the rest of the issue, yes?
I have, yes. Yeah, I was going to say, actually, it's funny because I actually read it not too long earlier today, but then I'd read it before whenever we'd done it again. And since the last time, I'd forgotten about the next moment with the bear. And I remembered the bear, but I'd forgotten about the next moment. And I was like, oh, no. So it was definitely like, oh, okay.
I know.
So anything that's killed in this world by something that is possessed by or that is infected with this disease, then would get it.
Nope.
But if
Nope.
Okay.
It's anybody at any time you die. Anything, any animal, any insect, any person. You could die of cancer. You could get hit by a car. You could get eaten by a bear. Even though your body's dead,
no one's necessarily safe at all.
No one is safe, and there is no escape. Like you could get burnt up to a pile of bones, and you are still here.
You almost have to look at it as just that's the way things are in the future. Like that's the second part of your life, period. So
yeah, which makes it really interesting now because at some point you are going to get to see like the fall of society. You'll get to see like how it all started, right? You won't know the why necessarily, but you'll get to see when it starts and like how people are acting. And like some people are like going to shoot the zombies in the head because they think that's how they get rid of them.
Classic way to kill a zombie, right?
Right. And of course, it just makes them all the more unpredictable because they have less of their brain to use. So it's like it's hard. You know what I mean? And then people start getting separated. So the living versus the dead, because the dead start being so chaotic. It's a rather difficult place to navigate. Government gets involved. They start separating people forcefully. So then you have these ethical questions like, yeah, thank you. It's different, you know? But let me pose you a question. Do you have kids, Greg?
I do.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
2.
You have 2 kids. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What if you were in this world and one of your children was undead and they were coming to get them? Just one, not both. One.
I don't know. Like I don't know what would you do I have no idea what to do in that situation.
What would you do if you were undead and your kids were both alive and they were coming to get you, take you out?
I'd probably leave. I mean, I'd leave with them, right? Just for the sake of my kids. But I mean,
you would go on the run, right?
Yeah.
Probably you and your kids. But like, so this is the situation that's posed to everybody. And when they start separating us, like, do you hide them in your house? Do you pretend they don't exist for a long time? And there's like an anonymous phone number that, you know, people can call and be like, my neighbor's undead, come pick them up, you know? So it's like,
So the undead aren't necessarily evil.
No.
They're just undead.
Correct.
So it could be something you could just learn to live with.
Well, eventually they're going to go crazy. There's no doubt about it because their brain is literally turning into mush. So at first it's like, yes, exactly. It's like him putting it in the closet and hoping it would just be okay. Like she would recognize me, right? Just, you know, but it's like, they forget who you are. You know what I mean? Or they don't care about being alive anymore. So let's say there's an undead person in your neighborhood and they like drive their car over someone because they just, oh, well, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? What's up, Ross?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, goodbye.
Let's do that time. There we go. I'm back. I'm here.
Hello.
Love the threads too, man. Hey. New stuff.
A little bit.
All right. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, Laurie. Ross, join the show. We're just going through the first comic here. She's going to start talking about the second one here in a moment. And then she's going to stay with us for the show. So she's caught up on everything except for Lower Decks. So
sweet,
she's with us for the long haul. Yeah.
Yeah, I like hanging out and talking about the things.
We got plenty of them to talk about, that's for sure.
And I was like, these are all the shows I'm watching anyway. So
deterioration,
that's the name of the game. But again, we as humans would try to tackle that, right? So like those discs are technology, they're hackable. So in my world, people hack them. So you can have an undead walking around with a hacked disc that trying to pass as human for longer because they don't want to be separated. Or they're trying to embalm themselves. Like they're doing things to try and combat their deterioration.
Right.
Because we're people and that's how
everybody would do if they had the opportunity. Yeah.
If they had the opportunity to. Right. So that's kind of the world this is. Cody,
what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Sorry, how was the free for all?
Oh, it was fine, man. It was a good show, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're hopping in, man. We're just finishing up a Path of the Pale Rider here. I don't know if you saw you in the chat room. I don't know if you were listening to the concept of the
I've been adjusting my microphone, so I've not been all the way in, but don't let me interrupt. Please continue.
Okay.
Put that comment up. That's really funny.
Right.
If Bernie was actually like conscious, but yeah, that's like what it's like. It's really funny. Also, really devastating though. Hey, Sarah.
Goodness, crowded now. What's up, Sarah?
Everybody showed up.
Sorry, I was late to the party. My apologies.
The cave is full. All right, so continue, Laura. I'm sorry.
That's the concept, you know. It's a wild place. We're 10 years into the apocalypse where things have devolved. So issue number 1, we got to see Jude in the wild. We got to see him make decisions and kind of learn who he was, and then the consequences that he had to deal with from waking up this big James the Undead Bear. It wasn't happy. So be prepared.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to share a different screen here?
Yeah.
Or-
What about the Kickstarter?